Hey, what's up everybody? Swamp Balls, back for another Swamp School. In this one I'm going to show you how to grab the rider at the end of the track and get him ready to be animated. Attach him to some objects, dummy objects. It's kind of a sticky situation doing this. It gets kind of weird sometimes. So, okay, so the first thing you're going to need is some dummy objects. So I'm just going to start off, I'm going to attach one to his head and two to his shoulders. So we need the rider. Get down here. Alright, so first thing you need to do is get the dummy object set up. I try to get kind of inside them, but you're still going to need to select them once in a while, so I'm not going to put them in until the very last because it's really hard to select them once you get them in close to the rider like this. So just going to leave them like this, get them in where you want them. Okay, so alright, okay, now move this one back over his head. Alright, so we're going to take a copy of these because this is what we're going to attach to the rider, and then we're going to move these down and we're going to use this as what we animate. And it's kind of weird how it works like that, and I've screwed around with it a lot, and this way seems to work the best. So I'll show you how to do it this way. Alright, so now what we need is physics joints. So we're going to do 3 joints. 3 joints on. Okay, so you know what I'll do. Oops. Going to just make one and then copy it. Okay, so set it up to point, and joint strength is 4. Okay, now I'm going to copy these so I don't have to do that again. Okay, so now on the top one I'm going to select the right, left hand, rider shoulder. So the first target is the dummy object. The second target is the rider shoulder. And you can just click anywhere and it selects it. You know, on the rider, it seems to just select what you are pointing at most of the time. Getting his hands are kind of hard. You have to use the rabbit. You have to switch to the rabbit and then come straight down over the top of him and click his hands, which I may do another tutorial on that one because I may do some more animation. But anyway, for this one, I'm just going to show you how to attach it. Alright, so second target's going to be his head. And just click his head. Pretty much gets it. Third one's going to be his other shoulder, which would be there. Let me swoop around here. Okay. And then, wait, did I get it? No. See, that's what I was talking about. Alright. Alright, so, and his shoulder. Bang. Okay. So, now these 3 physics joints, stay here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get some OPE stuff going on. So, we need 3 object position events. 1 for each dummy object. And if you add objects, you're going to need ones for the other ones too. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so, and now we're going to also need the position of these dummy objects. So we're going to use a vector object info, which is under data sources. Vector object info is all at the bottom. Alright, so we need 3 of these. Put these 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is going to be same pattern we were going before. Left hand shoulder on the top. Center is going to be the head. And bottom's going to be the right shoulder. Okay, so now move these over a bit. Alright, so this one, I'm going to turn off local and select these 3 positions. Turn off rotation, and then we're going to move this target, which is going to be that dummy object. Okay, now do the same thing for the other 2. Sorry. Alright, no local. turn off, oops, sorry, turn off rotation, and then the target's going to be the middle one. Okay, and then this one, same thing. This kind of snaps them up, which is, I'm just going to show you this now. You can try to change it once you get this down. I think getting this down is pretty much an accomplishment first, and then go from there, because sometimes the rider just gets really tweaked when you try to do this. Okay, so now we need to power all this. So we need 2 interval triggers. One to run this, which keeps them locked to those dummy objects, and then another one to detach him and do all the other things we need to do, turn everything on and stuff. And I've tried different ways, and this way is the way that works for me. So this is why I'm showing you this. It seems like a weird way to go about doing it by turning all this stuff on like this, but it for some reason the order in which you do this stuff makes a big difference. So okay, what am I doing here? I need a state event, and then I need a physics event, and then we need a player event. Okay, so now in order, you have to detach him first. So we're going to do this. Do this over here. Sorry. Okay, so you detach him first, and then you turn off the physics on these 3 dummy objects, which we're going to need to turn on. That's a good way to remember to turn them on, is to not... Oops, did I click that one? Yeah. Okay, so now we got to turn these dummy objects on. Turn the physics events on these, because you're going to attach them to get them to the rider, and they're going to need to have physics turned on, or the rider won't move. Okay, so move these down like that. Okay, now this has 3 coming off of it, right? Yes. Okay. All right. So this first impulse is 1 tick. Stop after 1. We just want to hit everything 1 time to detach the rider. And then after you detach the rider, you want to turn off the physics event. I mean, turn off the physics on those things. Okay, so now this you're going to turn off. This is going to be 1 tick forever going to this one, and we're going to pass through this one to the other ones. Okay, and we're going to turn all these off. Okay, and now we're going to use this to turn everything on at 1 time. So event targets is going to turn on this impulse, this OP, this OP, and this OP. Okay, now, famous last words. Let's see if this works. Okay, another thing about this kind of stuff that I want to make a good point is, or just want to make a point, is always trigger endings and stuff off the final checkpoint. Don't use a hit trigger, because I've played tracks before where you crash right before the finish line and you trigger the ending animation to start, and you're sitting there watching the end animation, and then you realize that you haven't finished the track yet, so you have to go back and ride that again. So it's not a good idea. So alright, so I'm thinking this is gonna work. Let's give it a shot. Famous last words. Okay, there we go. Alright, so it grabs the rider and attaches him to those dummy objects that we set out here, and then if you want to continue to animate, then you just animate these objects here, because he's attached to these objects. So once you start to move him up and down or something like that, he'll move with them. He's going to be attached to these. So you animate these. One thing, if you do rotate this, you can group these or glue them and rotate them as a whole to turn the rider. you're going to have to rotate these dummy objects along with that. You need to rotate that thing and these dummy objects so it'll twist the rider around. And that's one thing that's real important, because he'll start getting tied up like a knot. So I hope this helps everybody. Probably come back later and do something a little more. I don't want to make these too long. But so here, I tell you what, let's do this. Let me just do one thing quickly. No, I'll put a camera in so we can see what happens. I mean, see how he looks at the end, see if he's straight and everything, because sometimes things get tweaked. Just want to make sure I'm not leaving you hanging. Alright, let's see how this looks. It should be 20 meters. Okay, here we go. Alright, so yeah, that's got him pretty good. So he's kind of flexing. Alright, so you can move those dummy objects. You can rotate them a little back, you know, to have him face a little more forward. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes that gets kind of weird too. You just gotta be careful from this point. Do things slowly and test everything as you go, because if you go too far, then you're gonna have to back up and you may not know where you screwed something up. So just have fun, try to make things cool. Good luck. Thanks for watching.